Good morning. It's so good to see you. While we give folks another moment or two to filter in and find the just perfect seat, maybe we should sing something. If it feels right in this moment, take a breath. Yeah, you're welcome to wiggle in any way that feels right to you in this moment. See what kind of body you brought with you today. Is it a quiet body? Is it an active body? However you are right now is perfect and wonderful. We're so glad that you're here. For our younger folks and families, we've saved a couple seats for you in the first couple rows. We have coloring things, we have kids' orders of service, some little chairs and a coloring table, some lap desks. So don't be shy about coming on up to the front. You can check it out, and even if you're like, I want these crayons, but I don't want to sit in the front, that's okay. You can take the crayons and go back to someplace that feels comfortable. One of my favorite morning songs has become Finding My Way Back to Now, because every now is this sort of like different and new. So we can kind of check out the quality of like today's 10 o'clock now. I am finding my way, I am finding my way, I am finding my way back to now. Welcome. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. Yeah, feel free to make up a part if you want to make up something too. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. Let's do it two more times. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. Last time. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. Let's take one more big breath in.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder. My name is David Schwartz. I serve as the minister here, and it's a joy to be with you this morning. One of the things that I love about the congregation is the spirit of a sort of a joyful informality. I appreciate, we don't do this perfectly all the time, but like when someone scoots in next to you late to the service because they were eating breakfast, like they get a nod and a hello. Like we don't pretend to be like in these little locked in boxes like nobody else exists. And I don't mean that passive aggressively. Actually, in that spirit, why don't you just like give a nod to the people around you right now? Right? I always feel bad cutting this off. Like, no, stop enjoying each other's company. I want to extend a warm welcome, especially to everyone visiting us for the first time. We're an intentional community gathered around a shared promise to support each other's individual spiritual journeys. And we don't all believe the same things in the same way. What we share is not a common creed, but instead the same values and the same commitment to our spiritual growth, the same faith that our beliefs become real when we act on them to make the world a better place. And we share, too, a commitment to live a life grounded in community, this sense that none of us are supposed to go it on our own. If you're joining us online, there's a link in the description to the visitor form. Fill it out. We'd love to connect with you. I am so delighted this morning to welcome and to introduce our summer minister in residence, Michael DeSantis. Michael leads services through the month of July while I'm off. Michael's a candidate for Unitarian Universalist ministry, born and raised in Pittsburgh, loved into be... You got one. Loved into being by a family of progressive, fallen-away Catholics. Michael's worked as a mentor to Indigenous teens and a public policy advocate for homeless youth and a hospital and a nursing home chaplain, and has spent this last year in an internship at Jefferson Unitarian Church in Golden. Michael did theological studies at Union Theological Seminary in New York City and live in Denver with their partner, Pearl, hospital chaplain, fellow Union alum, and minister in formation with the United Church of Christ. Michael, welcome. Each week when we gather, we light our chalice, just as 1,000 other Unitarian Universalist congregations do around the country. It's a symbol of our past, our present, of our future. It's a visible reminder of our interconnection. Will you join me in saying the words of our mission up on the screens as Michael lights the chalice this morning? We gather to connect bravely, deepen spiritually, embody justice, and always love.
Somewhere in Des Moines or San Antonio, there's a young gay person who all of a sudden realizes that she or he is gay, knows that if the parents find out, they'll be tossed out of the house. The classmates would taunt the child, and the Anita Bryans and John Briggs are doing their bit on TV, and that child had several options: staying in a closet, suicide, and then one day that child might open a paper and it says homosexual elected in San Francisco, and there are two new options. The option is to go to California, stay in San Antonio and fight. 2 days after I was elected, I got a phone call, and the voice was quite young. It was from Altoona, Pennsylvania, and the person said, "Thanks. And you've got to elect gay people so that that young child and the thousands upon thousands like that child know that there's hope for a better world. There's hope for a better tomorrow. Without hope, not only gays, but those blacks and the Asians, the disabled, the seniors, the us's, without hope, the S's give up. I know that you cannot live on hope alone, but without it, life is not worth living. And you've got to give them hope. Thank you very much.
Harvey Milk was an ordinary man with an extraordinary dream that would change history. He dreamed that everyone, without exception, without qualification, everyone, including gay people, would have equality. He dreamed that his friends would be treated like everybody else. He dreamed that one day people would be able to live and love as they pleased. And with his thick New York accent, Harvey talked to everyone about his dreams. His voice boomed, his body bounced with energy and excitement. And some people listened, a few agreed, most didn't. But Harvey's big voice and big dream wouldn't be stopped. He discovered that the best way to change laws was to help make laws. And in 1977, Harvey Milk took a big step toward that dream when he became one of the first openly gay political people elected to office in the United States.
Harvey and his friends planned marches to protest inequality and unfair laws. And just days before one of the marches, Harvey had an idea. A symbol, he thought. We need a symbol that shows who we are and how we feel. Something to carry during the march. Something to make people feel they're a part of a community. Something to give people hope. Something extraordinary. Harvey knew an artist who could help, Gilbert Baker. Harvey asked, Gilbert said, we need a flag. Volunteers arrived to help Gilbert's design come to life. Together, they cut and dipped fabric into large barrels filled with vivid, vibrant dyes. They cut pieces and they sewed until Harvey and Gilbert and the other activists had a flag. It was a flag with 8 colorful stripes. A flag that Harvey hoped would give hope. On June 25th, 1978, when it was time for the march, a breeze stirred in San Francisco. The flag unfurled. The wind blew. The flag fluttered, flapped, and flew. A rainbow, as bright and as unique as the people who walked behind it, led the march.
Today, when I see the pride flag, it fills me with joy. Last night, my family and I went out to a restaurant in Erie, and as we pulled up, I could see outside that they had decided to hang a pride flag. And I was just so excited to see it because I know at this time some places have decided to take their flags down because they're afraid. But I was so excited to see that flag outside and to see them on the tables in the restaurant, because what it meant to me was that no matter which of my friends I brought to that restaurant, that they would feel welcome and that they would feel safe. And so we're going to talk more and more about that symbol today. But at this moment, we're just going to celebrate how good it feels to see that symbol flying. So we're going to sing this very, very joyful song in an exceedingly joyful arrangement that Austin created for us. So we're going to ask you to rise in body or in spirit, and we're going to have you sing along with us, and we're going to sing about how good it feels to just have the safety and the freedom to keep your heart wide open no matter how many people are trying to get you to close that pupper down. Nope, we're going to keep them open.
Harvey and the people who he led, who he spoke for and with, they asked for equality. They asked to be treated like everyone else. They asked to live and love as they pleased. They hoped this march would make a difference. Harvey was proud of the flag. He was proud of himself. He hoped others could be proud too.
5 months later, on the morning of November 27th, 1978, Harvey and the mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone, were killed. They were assassinated. Their lives were taken by a man who did not think like Harvey, or feel like him, or love like him. The flag did not fly on that dark day, on that sad night. Instead, thousands and thousands of people marched silently, carrying candles. The candlelight wove through the streets of San Francisco, up and down hills, and around city buildings. A mile of glowing candlelight in honor of 2 lives lost. That could have been the end of Harvey's dream and the colorful flag, but it wasn't.
When we say that our mission here is in part to always love, it means that we actively seek connection and compassion across all boundaries and borders. Each week in the service, we take time to acknowledge the beautiful and the joyful parts of life, as well as the sorrows, the mourning of things that we wish weren't as they are. This week, instead of placing stones, we'll light candles. As the flame gets to you, passed from one to another, light your candle and consider, what is it that you're holding in your heart today? The light might be a symbol of joy for you. It might be a symbol of the hope that underlies hard things, just like the candles lit during the vigil for Harvey's life symbolize sadness and hope, undying, both of them, right at the same time. For all of the hopes and the griefs that we carry, we hold this compassionate space with love. And in particular, our love is with Babs Hurley and her whole family. She buried her mother on Friday after a long life. This morning, too, we hold in our hearts gratitude for the progress made in understanding, in inclusion, in celebration of the LGBTQIA community, as well as deep sorrow for the persecution the queer community still faces, and the hope that together we can and we will create a more inclusive and a more joyful future.
This morning, we're going to borrow a sacred song from the Civil Rights Movement. And when we do that, it's always really important to do so with a real sense of our sacred responsibility. The song is "We Shall Not Be Moved." A lot of my queer friends reminded me this week that it's only been 10 years of marriage equality in the United States. And on the one hand, 10 years of marriage equality. That's amazing and great. And at the same time, just as David and Michael just reminded us, there are people who are trying to erase that freedom. And what we're here to say today as Unitarian Universalists is that marriage equality, the inherent worth and dignity of our queer beloveds, is not changeable. That is not going to be erased. We are not going to be moved on that issue. We hold firmly that our queer beloveds are sacred, beautiful, and whole. We will not be moved. Will you rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing? Voices raised together, we shall not be moved. We walk this road together, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the water, we shall not be moved. shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We stand and fight together. We shall not be moved. We stand and fight together. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved.
We now extinguish these flames, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Y'all can be seated. And now back to our story. Over time, more rainbow flags were created. Some of the colors were changed. 8 stripes became 6 stripes. The hot pink stripe was removed as it was difficult to make when the pride flag became increasingly popular. And the turquoise stripe was removed as an artistic choice by Gilbert Baker.
The Philadelphia Pride flag was designed by Daniel Quasar in 2017, and it added a brown and a black stripe to the top. And that design was shifted in the Pride Progress flag in 2018 to have light pink, light blue, and white to represent the trans community, and brown and black stripes to represent the inclusion of communities of color. And that black stripe had a second meaning, remembering those people who had died during the HIV/AIDS epidemic, especially in the 80s and 90s when it was at its worst.
In 2021, Valentino Vecchietti of Intersex Equality Rights of the UK designed the Intersex Inclusive Pride flag, which added a yellow triangle with a purple circle in it.
Even with all those changes, the meaning of the flag didn't change. It was a flag, it is a flag of equality. More and more people began to think of this flag as their flag, and they began to feel pride, to see it as a symbol of hope, to feel it as hope.
In 1994, Gilbert Baker designed another rainbow flag. This one was larger than all the rest. Women and men and siblings beyond the binary, side by side, carried the flag, a proud, mile-long rainbow floating through New York City. The flag wove through the streets, up and down avenues and boulevards, and around city buildings. The people demanded equality. They demanded to live and love as they pleased. They were proud. They had hope. They would make a difference.
Over time, rainbow flags became printed on bumper stickers and t-shirts. They were hoisted onto lampposts on Halsted Street in Chicago. One hung in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. And soon the rainbow flag was flying in other countries too, Brazil and England, Israel and Russia, Singapore and Turkey. The rainbow flag unfurled in cities, on farms, in the suburbs. It flew proudly outside public buildings, hotels, shops, restaurants, churches, homes. And once, on June 26, 2015, the White House was awash in the colors of the rainbow flag.
Hard to believe that was only 10 years ago, right, folks? And also, it has been a long 10 years. So, about 2 years ago, I was at our Unitarian Universalist General Assembly in my hometown of Pittsburgh, where I went to this workshop that was a dialogue with the author Brian Broom, who is a gay black man who was speaking about his best-selling and award-winning memoir. And at some point in the talk, Broom told the audience that he proudly claimed the term queer as an identity, and that he thinks of queer in an expansive way, a way similar to bell hooks, the late author, social critic, and prophet. And Broom shared with us a quote from bell hooks that she once used to explain what she meant when she identified herself as queer. So here's the quote. Queer, not as being about who you're having sex with, though that can be a dimension of it, but queer as being about the self that is at odds with everything around it, and that has to invent and to create and to find a place to speak and to thrive and to live. And Broom went on, the author, he went on to tell this audience, an audience made up of hundreds of UUs. Broom went on to say that he suspected that using that definition of queer, that almost everyone in that room, as UUs, as a people who profess values that so often seem to be at odds with the world that we live in and the current administration in the White House, Broom said that he suspected that almost everyone in that room was, at least according to bell hooks' definition, a little bit queer. Now, on the one hand, I think that there's a little kernel of truth in this. Our tradition, Unitarian Universalism, we really do aspire to do religion in a way that is outside of the norm and at odds with how most of us here in the United States tend to think about religion. We gather in religious communities in which we not only believe different things about whether or not God exists, let alone what that God might be like, but we celebrate our theological diversity because we know that it makes us stronger. It gives each of us insights into life's biggest questions that we might not have had if we didn't have the wisdom of others around us. And in a country in which so many of the loudest religious voices and the most prominent churches are often the most conservative, using religion to justify injustices and other things that are unjustifiable, we are a religion that intentionally puts love at the center. We put love at the center, and we seek to build a world where there really is liberty and justice for all people. A world which we strive to begin building, however imperfectly we do it, in communities like this one, in our local UU churches. In short, using bell hooks' definition of queer, there is a very real way that Unitarian Universalism does queer what it means to be a church. We do seek to be at odds with conservative and exclusionary definitions of what it means to be a faith community or a church, and we seek to build religious communities, churches, where all people truly can invent and create and find a place to speak and to live and to thrive. On the other hand, something about Broom's statement that using bell hooks' definition of queer, all you use are probably a little bit queer, well, that statement didn't quite sit right with me as a queer person, as someone who's non-binary, and as someone who holds other queer identities. You see, folks, and this is something you're going to learn over the next month or so, I am inherently skeptical of any take like this one, which feels like it could let us off the hook for the hard work of justice and equity and inclusion. I'm skeptical of anything that feels self-congratulatory when there is obviously work that still needs to be done. And so my worry in telling a whole room of people, straight and gay, trans and cisgender, those who do identify as queer and those who don't, is that it might give those of us who aren't queer an excuse for not doing the work that we need to do to welcome queer folks in all of their queerness. It might give us the sense that we've already done the work that we need to do to ensure that queer folks are welcome here and safe and supported, regardless of if they actually do feel that way. And the truth is that every UU congregation that I've been to has still had a little bit of work to do on this, especially when it comes to understanding our trans and non-binary siblings. And I say this from personal experience. I have heard people use the wrong pronouns for me at every single UU church I have been to. And I say that not because I expect perfection, but because it maybe is a sign that the self-congratulatory stuff is a little premature. And I also worry. I worry that in saying something like, well, all UUs are a little bit queer, is that it takes the focus away from the particular struggles that those of us who are queer have historically faced and that we continue to face today because of our queer identities. Harvey Milk, for example, he became a target of public hatred because he was an openly gay man. An openly gay man who actively and publicly promoted the rights of the queer community. And Harvey Milk, he needed to fight against unjust laws because there were laws at the time that specifically made it illegal for people to have sex with the people of the same gender. And we see the same thing happening today. We see Harvey Milk's name being taken off of Navy ships, and we see state after state enact laws that specifically target trans people, trying to force trans people out of the military and youth sports, and trying to prevent trans people from accessing the health care that they need and the bathrooms that align with our gender identities. The good news is, of course, that this is not how it has to be. It does not have to be this way. The forces of meanness and exclusion, they don't have to have the last word. Indeed, that's the whole point of Pride Month. It's a month when we celebrate queer life and queer joy and queer identities and queer dignity. It's a month when we celebrate queer people and queer communities who, in spite of everything, have, in the words of bell hooks, found ways to invent and create and find a place to speak and to thrive and to live. And while I'm still skeptical of the claim that all UUs are probably a little bit queer, Pride is an invitation. It's an invitation for all of us, especially for those of us who aren't queer, especially now, to learn from the wisdom of queer folks and from queer communities' ways of being in the world. It's an invitation to take pride in who we are, no matter what anyone else says. It's an invitation to break down binaries that try to tell us who we can be and who we can't, what we can do and what we can't. And perhaps above all, Pride is an invitation to work on welcoming one another and accepting one another and honoring one another's identities, as queer people have long done for one another in our communities. And as we use in our best moments, as we seek to do here in this place and in this faith, where we do our best, however imperfectly, to queer church. Happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride. Amen.
Hey, since some of you are already standing, let's rise in body or in spirit. So many of my trans friends have been posting in the midst of just the swirling tide of hateful legislation that trans folks have always existed and they always will. Queer folks have always existed and they always will. And in some ways, for me, Pride Month is about celebrating that resistance and that resilience, that no matter what lawmakers try to say or do, queer folks will always persist, resist, exist. And so part of the reason why we chose this song to close the service today is a reminder that laws will never take away the existence of the beautiful queer folks in our lives, and will never, they just can't. They just can't. So it's a reminder that the joy that we have, the strength that we have, the pride that we have is not for lawmakers to decide or to claim, that it's ours, we get to keep it, we get to celebrate it, it's for us. So let us have a party. Take it away, Austin. Make up any part that feels good. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This strength that I have, this strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. No, the strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. And if the world didn't take it, the world can't take it away. This love that I have, this love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. No, this love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. No, this love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. And if the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Let's sing about our pride, this pride that I have, this pride that I have. The world didn't give it to me. They can't take our pride. The world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Let's sing about our peace. This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. It's the last one. Let's sing about our joy. This joy that I have. The world didn't give it. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Yeah.
Well, friends, before the service ends and the work continues, a few invitations. Just outside the doors on the little table right there are a few baskets, and our offering today goes to support the work of Rocky Mountain Equality, so I invite you to give generously as you go. After the service, Henry Kroll is going to be in the listening room back there. Henry worked in San Francisco city government with Harvey Milk. And if you want to share memories, maybe you have some of your own or hear from him, he'll be back there. In the Emerson room, just across the hall, the LGBTQ plus group is meeting also, so I invite you not to let the celebration end, but to grab some coffee, to grab some food. There's so much food. And if you want to meet up with those folks, that group, they'll be in Emerson. Otherwise, keep going. The summer services continue. You get 4 more weeks. But beyond that, too, I want to especially invite you. Michael's also leading a couple of different adult religious education workshops, one on the practice of centering prayer at the end of the month, but another 4-session series on creating theology together. If you want to dig deep into what is your own theology, how would you articulate what it is that you believe? How's that in conversation with your own experience, your reason, the traditions you've come from and into? Join in that. And also, our practical spirituality class continues to meet this month with Paula. So grab one of these on your way out, check it out, make those connections. We end this time together today, but the work continues, the celebration continues, the commitment, the absolute unshakable commitment to keep on moving forward together continues. Will you rise in body or in spirit? We'll close in song.
Yes. We're gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Living proudly. We're going to keep on living proudly. Gonna keep on living proudly. Gonna keep on living proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. One more, moving forward. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward, never turning back, never turning back. Go for it. Oh, when Steve's ready.